This is Pastor Jeff once again for In the News, May 5th, 2013. It is May 5th, right? Yep, May 5th. Just making sure. I mean, because there was no snow in the background. You know, I might as well make sure we're still in May, not June or July. Right? Anyway, in the news today, and I know this has been going on for the last 2 days, but I got two reports here. The first one is Israel strikes Syria's military research center, U.S. official says. Now, it reads here, Israeli jet bombed a military research facility north of Damascus. Imagine that. We just read about that today in daily Bible reading in the book of Acts. Early Sunday. Senior officials told NBC News the second Israeli attack on targets in Syria in recent days. This is the second one. Heavy explosions shook the city, and video shot by activists showed a fireball rising from the sky after Sunday's strike. Now, around 10 locations were hit. It was difficult to tell what was hit in the raid and what exploded afterwards. Some of the targets were weapons and weapon depots. Now, I'm going to give you the article here. I'm going to read part of this next article here, and I'm going to make my commentary. It says in the second article, analysts, Israel may be ready for more active military role in Syria. I mean, of course they are. Do you blame them? Now, let me read the article before I get on my soapbox for today. Let's say here, it says, war makes strange bedfellows. President Freudian slip. President Bashar Assad's regime is in the unique position of being targeted both by Israel and supporters of Al-Qaeda. It is hard to imagine more a diverse couple. Sworn enemies fighting against the same government. Isn't that weird? It is... Okay, sorry. Late drum roll there, or suspense thing. Israel carried out a series of attacks on military targets, we just read this, close to President Assad's main compound. All right? Witnesses said they heard low-flying jets in the air, but only after the explosion began. All right, Syrian state TV blamed Israel, of course they did, and said it was helping the rebels it called terrorists. Now, see, this is the funny part about this whole situation here. Now, I'm going to get on my commentary now. Number one, any sovereign country has the legitimate right to protect its citizens. Amen. They have a right and an obligation to protect their resources and their country. It's a small itty-bitty country surrounded by people who want their destruction. Of course they're going to defend themselves and do it aggressively without reservation. I love it. Now, what's interesting is that now the Syrian government, the guy who's having to focus on the rebels as well as Israel, is now accusing Israel of now helping the rebels, which Israel isn't doing, because Israel still views even the rebels as their enemy, which I agree, because I think this is going to be just another thing that happened in Afghanistan with bin Laden. We went in there and helped them, and when the Russians were over there. And as soon as the Russians departed and we reneged on our offer to help in different ways, of course, then all hell broke loose and the rest is history. However, you and I as believers, we must understand the times that we're living in. Amen. We must never forget that we know that there's been wars and Israel's always been fighting, and people around in the Arab states and the countries and stuff always hated Israel ever since we've been. When you read in the Bible, all of them have been trying to destroy the people of God. We get that. We understand that. And in their position, I can understand why, because they're terrified of what Israel really represents. And what Israel really represents is the sovereignty of God. True God. Not the imagined God. Not Allah. But they represent the historical truth of God's plan. And anytime man can try to destroy that or disrupt it or defame it in any way, shape, or form, that's when they win. It's not, they're not trying to, it would be nice for them in their mind to destroy Israel, but they're not going to, because the Jewish people are all over the world. They're everywhere. But the best thing that they want to do is to nullify their stance, their position in the world. And this is exactly what the world does with Christians. They try to minimize our importance and minimize our effectiveness. And the way they do that is by, trying to nit and pick about calling us haters, calling us, we don't tolerate, we don't love, we don't, all this kind of stuff. And the bottom line here is, folks, you and I need to understand that, as I said, number one, Israel must be under the covering of the Christians, meaning we must support them. I'm not talking about their rebellion, because God's going to deal with the rebellion, like I was talking to Nicole this morning, that God will deal with their rebellion. I think it was Nicole or somebody else. Probably was somebody else. I don't think I talked to Nicole yet. But we as Christians who are under that sovereignty of God, we represent the sovereignty of God. We too, just like the Jewish people, like the people of Israel, we come under extreme scrutiny. And in that position, we must, it's not tread lightly, but we must tread smart. Amen. We must be gentle as doves and wise as serpents. And we need to, like, that's why I said before to, put your flag, the American flag, upside down as a quiet, peaceful protest against the chaos in America and around the world. We as believers must stand up for, a peaceful, protest. I don't believe in any way, shape, or form that anybody needs to be, going around, shooting on people. They just don't need to do it. My gun didn't go off right. There we go. A little short there. Anyway. All right. Oh, there, our neighbors. Anyway, this is Pastor Jeff once again signing off for May 5th, 2013. Have a good day.